You guys know it's going to be a really interesting live when I have a cup of my strongest cacao. I have my candle lit. You guys are placed in my altar space. And there is resistance to sharing this message, but it's needed. And as you guys know, I am a big preacher for leaning into resistance. And I know that the people who are meant to receive this will receive it. So, this is a not planned channel message to the wounded healer, the soul that feels like they are not perfect enough to hold space. They feel like so much of their life has been trials and tribulations, pain. They feel a little bit lost, and then they feel on top of things at one point and then lost again. Seems like themes just keep coming back again and again. Doesn't matter how much shadow work that you do, you find yourself in the same space. Then this is for you. This message is for you from Divine. Before coming live on here, I was meditating for myself, as usually whenever I record a video. And then it became what was me was for you. So as you're dropping in, I just want you to connect. If you connect with the word wounded healer, maybe you don't know what wounded healer means. Maybe you just know the energy of what that means. Maybe you do know what wounded healer means. Hey, Johnson. So if you are, just let me know in the chat where you're at. If you're watching, if you're here live with us, and if you're watching the recording, let me know replay what you're feeling. As you guys know, and if you don't know, I'm currently in the process of sitting with each and every one of you who have felt called to either work with me one-on-one or to apply to the Earth Dharma program. And as I read your applications, there's a lot that's coming up as someone receiving you. And one thing that came up that I see in this channel message is learning multiple things of how to get ourselves out of the wounded healer. Because the wounded healer wants to support, or all they know is to give every ounce of their energy to everyone else in their life but themselves. And they have a hard time receiving and a hard time making decisions within themselves. And I'm talking about as simple as figuring out what type of food you want to order, right? And based on what I'm sharing here, this channel message for the wounded healer is the perfect time for the fall equinox that's happening on September 23rd, 2023. And it's funny because every day I check in with the energy, not only on full moons and new moons, but I also do them at eclipses, Lions Gates, and now this energy after so many tests of the retrograde, we step into something new. And it feels eerie. I don't know if anyone else can feel that. It feels eerie. It feels unknown. It feels shifted a little bit. And I want to give you some messages that are coming in for you here. So if you're jumping in just now, just say hello. Hi, Carol. Thanks for the love. I'm live on TikTok and on YouTube as I'm sharing this for you guys. What is the wounded healer? Channeled deeply from Divine for the Consciousness. Wounded healer is those who decide to create themselves and their identity as to be everything that they've experienced. Hi, Jen. Hi, Elena. They take on the story of their ancestors. They take on the story of strangers. They take on the stories of the people that they hold. And sometimes they aren't even aware that they're taking it on, and they feel depleted. They feel exhausted. They feel like they're running against the waters in the ocean's tide. The wounded healer is the one that does anything they can to help someone in need for support, someone in need of help. And yet the wounded healer has a really hard time receiving that same devotion, that same selfless help from themselves. because it makes it really hard for them to receive it. No matter how much someone could go to their door right now and think of the biggest thing that you would want help, it could be just for someone to listen to you. It could be for you to get clarity on some situation in your life. It could be as simple as being able to receive someone's perspective, thoughts, ideology on something. The wounded healer is someone that from young, they've always felt like they needed to help someone in this world. And if this is resonating with you, put a rainbow emoji in the comments to claim it, right? You get every sign in your bone, every sign in your being that you are meant to help people and that you are meant to do the following things. And sometimes you act on it and sometimes you don't. And when you act on it, it doesn't happen the way that you thought it would. And when you don't act on it, you maybe lose sleep from it. Or perhaps you feel like a failure. Or perhaps you feel lost. That is the voice of the wounded healer. The wounded healer is someone that takes on a lot of what this world has and what their family holds. They tend to be the karmic breaker. But one thing I have a question for you that Spirit is sharing for you to really sit with is, can you put down the cape of the wounded healer and to be seen beyond the wounds that you carry, beyond the fragments of yourself that you're trying to understand and work through? Are you able to move through and then give it away fully? Right? Oh, thank you. So really tapping into it. I hear Chirons in the chat, tapping into the Chiron, right? This is all hitting. Feel into your body where it's hitting. So when Spirit called me and said, hey, Shika, on Spirit call, get on this live and channel this message. And I asked the question as I read some of your applications for the Earth Dharma and as I reflect on this year, the opportunity to connect with some of you, whether it's through email, through comments, through whatever it is. Spirit shared with me that, the wounded healer, it doesn't matter, you can bend over fully, that they will not help themselves because they would rather be in the swamp that they told themselves that they had to be in. So I want you to ask yourself a very honest question to your spirit right now and ask yourself, why do you want to be in the swamp? Why does it have to be hard? Why does it have to be fixed? Why does it have to be solved? Why does it have to be understood? Right? What is the why? What are you seeking for as far as completion? And what are you seeking for as far as feeling like you've accomplished something that you feel deep in your soul and your bones that you don't have? And I want you to be completely honest with no judgment and share that in the comment. Because when you speak that out into existence, something that's already existing, you start to see where it's weaved into our life every day. And I'm so passionate about it because, again, with all my heart, if I can give you, each and every single one of you, everything that you want, I would go bibbidi bobbidi boo. I would do that. But that would lose the purpose of your soul's reason to drop here. Why your soul, one of the stars that you are, dropped on this earth in a body, in a meat suit, to experience something beyond what you know. So the channel message I continue to channel for you is on the 23rd of September this year is a time of pause and listening. And it's a time of pausing in the swamp that you have either definitely have chosen to be in, and the swamp that your soul has put you in to understand and to see the water is what brings the swamp together. And what does water represent? Water represents emotion, right? And whatever we decide as a being, as a soul, the water element is what sticks everything together. It's what makes the mud, it's what makes the clay, it's what gives the earth, it's what allows it to grow. So if you decide right now, energetically, I'm choosing to water my swamp, you're going to get swampy water. You're going to receive swampy opportunities. You're going to receive swampy messages. You're going to receive swampy space holding, whether it's from your partner, whether it's from a family member, whether it's from, a person at work. You're going to receive that swampiness, but it's a choice. It's a choice. So on fall equinox is happening on the 23rd. The energy, it's interesting, it's 23/20/23. The synchronicities this year have been off the hook with the numbers, the numerology, the energy. 3 is going off right now until the end of October. That is the most sacred angel number. What does 3 represent? Divine messages of our angels. Each one of our souls has a specific angel that comes with us every time we hit Earth, every single time. And when that angel comes, they are the only being, just as your soul, that knows you and connects with you, whether you have seen them or not, right? And you can use other energies, but I will say to make it more relatable to everyone, there is this guide that you have every single time you come to Earth. And what this guide is telling you is that we've been in the swampy water before. We've added water in the swamp. Are you ready to get out of the swamp and start putting water into the soil, into new spaces? Or do you rather allow the water to continue to get thicker and thicker and to feel yourself overwhelmed, which some of you are feeling right now? But on the day of the equinox, it is time to be completely in pause, to take a moment of pause at some point of that day. It's going to have you have an option to breathe into that spaciousness of the swamp and say, okay, I'm tired. Let me look around at the water that I put in here. What does water represent? Emotions, the emotions I put in here in my life. How do I allow my emotions to run my life? How do I allow that this emotion that's coming through to be my story? Because the emotion I'm having right now is just a small pinprick of the bigger picture. But so many of us of the wounded healer, one of the archetypes of the wounded healer is we latch onto the emotion and we make that our power. We make that our voice. We make that the reason how people see us. They don't see us this way. I am nothing. If I am not wounded, I am nothing. But if you allow yourself to have a chance to see what is beyond that, is there a possibility? And are you willing to move from a wounded healer to a healed healer? Do you believe that you yourself can be in your power beyond every story? I remember when I was just starting to hold space for people, I would always tell my story, and that was my leverage in a way. I would always say, I went through this and this trauma and da da da, and I did this thing and blah, blah. It was like a checklist of my ego that I was just constantly putting out there because I was like, I'm wounded. I need to tell you that I worked on myself. I fixed myself. Listen to me. I might be triggering you right now, but this is good. Listen to me. I fixed myself. I did everything I did. The little girl in me, the little being in you is like, I just want you to see me and see that I am fixed because this swamp is what I thought was my worth. And I'm shameful of the water in the swamp that I put in. And now, even though the swamp is not in my life anymore, I need to explain the swamp. I need to explain the story, right? So when we do that, we then create ourselves a false reality of pain that we continue to attract that pain again and again. And I always say that some souls are here to witness suffering and pain, and others are here to meet it, see it. And some souls, every soul actually, has a choice to meet it, to witness it. Because at the end of the day, the reason why we're here in this life as wounded healer is to understand the oneness, to not separate ourselves of my story is this. The moment that you claim your trauma, you are now separating oneness within yourself. and you are creating separation from you and the world, from you and your parents, from you and your partner, from you and your friends, from you and the colleagues at work. The moment that you decide to say, hey, this is my trauma, this is my gold medal, you are now creating separation. So as I read, and I want to share this because I love sharing from story, as I read some of your applications and I connect with you, I had a beautiful soul I connected with that is going to be joining the Earth Dharma next year. And as she was explaining her story, I saw all parts of her saying, I'm wounded, I'm wounded, I'm wounded. This is my trophy. She could hear me, listen to me. This is my swamp. Look at my swamp I created. And I just looked at her and I said, can you do one thing for yourself? Not for me. Can you promise yourself that you can dedicate this journey to your little girl and say that no matter what happens, I got you? Because you just separated yourself to your little girl, which is essentially you, is part of you. But I rather bypass myself and have so many different fragments of my story. The little girl that dad couldn't love, the part of me that got the trauma at 16, the part of me that wasn't able to be seen at 12 years old in class, the part of me that wanted to play and was schooled to play at age 7. All those parts of you are fragments. And part of removing the wounded out of your being, out of your essence, and moving forward is bringing them back together and seeing that they're one together. So when someone asks me, Shika, how do I heal the wounded healer? It's by taking those pieces and it's bringing them back together and not trying to fix them before you put them back into the glass. When a glass shatters, you don't try to smooth the edges. You put them as they're meant to be. You do not force them. You don't give them words or stories or shape the way that they look in order for them to be accepted. That is not how we hold that. Right? So many of us run away from our truth. We're seeking and we're seeking and we're seeking and we're seeking and we're looking for something to fix, right? But that's not the purpose of this work. The purpose of this work is to understand and to look at the swamp that we've created and to make a conscious choice to start to put water in a different space and to manage that energy with love, right? But the wounded healer, the biggest part of why the wounded healer comes in is because we are creating separation of ourselves because of a certain emotion. So on this fall equinox, you have an opportunity to pause and get to know what that emotion is. And then you have a choice to move through the resistance. And as I see this, I see like this beautiful violet lily. Violet represents insight on third eye. There's a possibility for you to receive this violet lily, right? This softness that can grow within the swamp. And you can change that space with love and not feel like you're drowning in yourself. But again, I just want to make it really clear that the wounded healer, it's your choice. It's always your choice in this channel message. It's always your choice. Everything has been your choice. Every single thing. Now it's your choice to see things a little differently with the guidance of this angel, this being that is here to support you and say, I got you. And I got you in a different frequency too. I don't need to only be there when you're at the worst or in betweens, or I don't need to call you only at this time when I'm wounded. The vulnerability that can be opened up by a wounded healer can be quite vast when they decide to choose themselves beyond what they know and whatever cuts, pains that they have within themselves. I'm feeling my heart here because I'm feeling it here for a lot of you. So I want to pull a few. I really don't pull cards often as much when I'm sharing it. I just wanted to share this message. I knew this wasn't going to be a long video, but I just want to share and I want to leave you with a couple things. The first thing I want to share with you is I want you to ask yourself, Am I the wounded healer? Be honest with yourself. If anything I said, most likely you are, because you're watching this, you made it to this point with this message. And if I am the wounded healer, why do I choose to be my swamp? Why do I choose, hello queens, kings, beings, consciousness, why do I choose to be in the swamp? Why? And you can share if you know right now in the chat. Why are you choosing to be in the swamp? It's going to be a lot because we need to move ourselves out. The way out is through, but it can also be quite easy when you decide not to be the wounded healer. And there could be so many possibilities on the other side. So many. I can't stress, as a wounded healer that was once there, so many beyond what you know. And when you can reclaim that, the love is vast. It's almost like you don't even know what to do with it, because you're like, wow, I can live, I can breathe. I am worthy to not be in the swamp anymore. Thank God, thank goodness. Like, I am so worthy to be out of this swamp. So worthy. But it doesn't matter how much other people try to support you, whether it's family, mentors, guides, you need to open that door to the other side. You have that power. So let this message be the key, the golden key, for you to decide to open that door. And if you do, that's amazing. And I do trust and see that so much will unfold for you after the equinox, because this time, this fall season is the phoenix, right? Starting in September, the first part of September, all the way to the end of the year, we are going through the cycle of the phoenix. So how fall equinox beats that is that right now we are burning into the flame of the fire. We're feeling our swamp. We're feeling the emotions. We're feeling a bit of the chaos. And for some of us, we're feeling overwhelmed. Channeling a lot, it's my nose. We're feeling overwhelmed. And others were feeling, wow, there's so much I want to create. Da, 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 da. Manage your energy. But whatever it is, it's this pause that will require presence for you to receive the deepest message you need. So right now we're in the flame. We tended the fire at the beginning of September. And now we're deciding what we want to burn. And fire can be used to remove things, but it can also be used to create, right? So ask yourself during this equinox, what are you removing and creating with the flame of the fire? What is being ignited in you? What a lot of people don't talk about is the light. But to get to the light, and I told someone I interviewed today for the Earth Dharma application, to get to the light, you got to move through the darkness. You got to meet those parts of yourself, right? You can't put light in a space without seeing all the shadows of it too. If we look at a flame, there's shadow, and it moves. It moves, and you watch the movement of the shadow of your flame as you connect with it. And as you connect with it, and you can even do this as an activity for you, light a candle like I have here and stare eye gaze with it, connecting with that part of your wounded healer. And as you gaze with it, I want you to notice, how do you feel with connecting with the flame of the fire, right? What is being burned and ignited emotionally through you, and inhaling through the nose, sounding as you exhale very gently, not deeply, just gently, being aware of where it is in your body. And as you ignite, are you able to ignite that within you, right? Remember, there's always options. There's always options. And no matter how much you say in the comment, I am trusted, I am guided, but you don't feel into it, you're not claiming it, it means nothing. Because your presence is absent. But again, me reaching this out and pulling this for you is an opportunity for you to reclaim that and see that, okay, I can do that. I do have that power. So Another last thing I want to share with you is, as a wounded healer, what part of you is scared of being seen wounded as much as you're seen healed? Those two energies are oneness. There's no separation, right? You can either choose to allow a wound to heal or to reopen it again and again so you can get someone to save you. This is one of the biggest things on a collective, and I won't go too deep into this, of why there's such a shift of the new earth right now. People call it new earth, but the earth in general and the dimension that's going on is because a lot of people, generations and ancestors, came from the guru, the savior, the person who's going to save me from my pain, save me, hold me, help me. Like, I need that. That's going to be completely, like, it's already wiping out. What we're doing is we're co-creating consciously and intentionally and not passively. And those who are willing to not do it passively have a lot of beautiful things to receive. So the wounded healer is now removing this feeling in our energy, in our ancestral DNA. Someone's got to save me. Someone's going to have to feel bad for me. Someone's going to have to suffer as much as I have to suffer. You know, how many times do our ancestors say, when I was young, I used to do? Bringing in the guilt, bringing in the suffering. That's how the wounded healer was created. Because it was like, okay, I need to save you. We drop that and we say, hey, ancestors, I'm not here to be your garbage. I'm not here to hold it. But what I will do is I'll be the light, and I will be the action and the example for myself. And in doing that, whatever is initiated in you is your choice. That's how we combat, as a wounded healer, the ancestral healing, right? But again, it's a choice. We can choose to go save that mother who makes you feel guilty of the mother wound. We can go and turn to the father that never could be emotionally available or physically available, or maybe triggering, or don't know how to express, and be like, okay, I will do whatever I need to buy your love. Please love me. Please love me. Wounded healer speaking through. Please love me. Take a pause, take a breath. Equinox is here. It's giving us opportunity for spaciousness. I don't need to buy your love. I don't need to buy my own. It's a choice. It's always a choice. Now I want to take this time to take a breath in your body and notice where you are. This message channeled healing that I'm giving and sharing with you, our community here. What are you feeling in your body? Where are you feeling it? Breathe into the tightness, breathe into the emotions. Don't hold your breath. What we do when we go through trauma or emotions, we hold. Notice how your breath is changing right now as you're receiving that. That's your energy. When you exhale, you're letting it go. You're not holding it on, right? You feel it in your chest. Breathe into your chest a little deeper. Exhale and sound it out. Your body is receiving so much frequency. It's changing and shifting. It's like, whoa, this is everything I was not taught. This is against everything I know. Because maybe everything you know about healing and supporting people was from a space of pain, not in a space of love. That is the wounded healer. I helped people. I started helping people because I was in a space of pain. That's where I get my love. That's how I get my energies, helping people. False. Absolutely not. That's how you burn out. That's how you maintain this burnout, right? The ego is receiving it. See what your body's feeling. Where are you feeling that in your body? Take a pause. On the 23rd, this is what's going to come up. Ask your guides, hey, look, I really don't know how to help people beyond just receiving them in a space where I need to be in pain. I don't know what unconditional support and helping is because I didn't get that. My mom and dad didn't know how to. The people around me didn't know how to. There was no one that taught me. The little version of you is speaking now. Let them process. You put that in the fire. The phoenix creates itself. And everything you put in gets tenfolds and above back to you. Feeling that come up, breathing into that, exhaling it out. Let's talk about unworthiness. That's the reason why I came on here, was because that was what started this channel message for you guys. As I was speaking to the specific soul, they said, who am I to do what I'm supposed to do? Who am I to step into purpose, dharma, whatever you want to call it, whatever our egos call it? Who am I to do this and this and this? And who are you to live? You're here to live. You're here to experience. Oh no, that doesn't make sense. That's too simple. I need to have something specific. I need something interesting, that I can analyze, that I can hold on to. Well, I'm sorry, that can't be the answer. I can't give that to you. The more you know, the more you find out you don't know. And then a lot of us feel like we're not going anywhere because we think we're getting to know all this information. We're like, where is all this information going? What does it mean? It means nothing. It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. And as I looked at this specific soul, this wounded healer soul, and I said, hey, look, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. What you're seeking for is waste of time. But it's part of your soul lesson, and that's okay. Do not feel bad about it. This is why you came to live, to come closer to understanding that the only thing that we really have to fulfill is understanding all the things that separate us to others. And where we find that the most is in the ones that we love, which is our family and friends, the ones closest to us. How do we feel separated from your family members, your siblings, the people you spend the most time with? Instead of meeting that separation, what do? We run away from it. Oh, I don't know anyone that's in my community that I can connect with and understands me and talks to me like this, and that I feel connected to like this, Shika on YouTube and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, actually, that's amazing, because you have an opportunity to understand what can you connect with. Speaking to the uncle that doesn't understand anything of what you're doing right now can actually be the most healing initiation of your life. And instead, you are seeking and running around the world trying to find something else. And that's the funny thing about the work I do. A lot of the times people do this work and they're like, oof, there's no love and light. We got to meet the swamp. We got to meet the swamp. The fall equinox is balancing darkness and light. So whatever you need is what you're going to get that day. And as a wounded healer, you're going to see, are you in the swamp too much? Or do you need to attend to your garden, your new garden? So ask yourself that. There is going to be resistance. There is. The wounded healer does go through resistance. That is part of it. Because we're scared of losing something. We're scared of losing more things that we've experienced. We compare our experiences and pain to the future, which we have no control over. It doesn't matter how many tarot card readings, how many channel messages you do, you have no control over, right? So when we can understand and receive that, we're allowing ourselves to be at ease. And then the ego's voice of, I need to have X, Y, Z to do this. The ego says, I don't understand why that. I just had a blah, blah, blah. What exactly does this mean? Da, da, da. That's ego. The heart says, okay, I feel this pain. Spirit, universe, I'm ready to work with you here. Let's do this. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm going to show up every single day in that resistance as much as I can. And who knows where we're going to go. And when you do, you never know. You'll wake up and everything that you couldn't even fathom is around you, surrounding you. Take a moment, receive it, take it in. Even right now, I want you to take a moment and think about your life right now. Because there is at least one thing that you can say, man, thank goodness I received it. Because if I didn't, I'm living and breathing. I heard the funniest thing on the podcast. Oh my gosh, my parents kept me alive. Yeah, they gave me a whole bunch of ancestral baggage, but man, they kept me alive. Gratitude for that. Gratitude meets oneness. That's another beautiful thing for the wounded healer. Genuine felt gratitude for the things that we can look up and not look down at the next thing we have to heal and fix. Take a second, look up and breathe. What do you see around you? That's what you've created. And if there's something that you don't like, which, again, this is going to be a very deep channel message, but I'm going to share this with you guys because I know, and this is why I had to share this and use the voice. Those of you who have the wounded healer that comes in and says, well, everything in my reality and I'm not where I want to be, you are affirming with contract with spirit, with your soul, saying, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not going to do anything about it. Let me stay here. Let me stay in the freeze state. What's freeze state? It feels like nothing is working. Nothing's working means something has to change completely. And there is no right moment to do that. And I share this because one of the applicants that I shared with the Earth Dharma, why I channeled this message, is they said, I have nothing I can do. I can't change. I don't know if I can. Well, then I can help you as much as I want to. I'm putting prayers that I divinely love you, but I can't help you. I'm sorry. I can't help you. It would be unrightful for me to accept you in something that I don't know if you can hold that for yourself because you haven't chosen to hold it. Not that you can't do it. You haven't chosen to hold it. You haven't chosen to be like, wait a minute, I'm going to throw everything I know and go into a new direction. And we have to do, every single one of us, even if we're not a wounded healer, has to do that again and again. And when we do that, we are finding the purpose of life, which is evolution. Because every experience you have is an opportunity to step into evolution. Take that in. Breathe that in. Feel into that. Deep. I want you to feel and do a promise me something. Promise yourself something. When this live is done, take a moment to breathe for 5 minutes. Sit with everything. Sit with where you're at. Okay? My responsibility and what I've been really reflecting last week is to really bring deep messages on here for you guys that are going to really bring you to yourself, home. And that is what Dharma is about, home, whether you're in the process of applying right now or not. Each one of you have a Dharma. That's it. Each one of us have chosen to be here. But you have a choice to add to your life free will, to choose to keep on being in this space of suffering, in the space of, man, I just want to stay here and be in the swamp. Swim into the ocean and see the multiple opportunities, because right next to the swamp, if you get your feet out, there's a beautiful ocean waiting for you and the waters are abundant. And I'm inviting you to step into that ocean. And maybe you can't see at the bottom of the ocean what's there, but look up and see the vast abundance that's there for you and what's holding you. Because the waters that you hold is the ripple and the initiator of your complete existence. I want to repeat that. The waters that you are, because most of our being is water, is the initiator of your complete existence. Without emotion, you would not be here. We recognize without your wound, you would not be looking up and seeing around here. But the time is now to let go of that existence. Let go of that feeling that you need to make who you are based on the wounds you've created, the wounds others have created on you. Give it away on this equinox. Start fresh. Start fresh. So I'm going to leave it there. I can channel for years, honestly, with you guys, but I'm going to leave it there for you. I feel like this is a good channel for you to come back to. I'm going to invite those who are ready to really guide themselves out of the swamp to apply to the Earth Dharma if you feel right. Not every person who applies will get to the end. But even if you take a try, like this applicant said, I didn't know until I did it. And what's the worst can happen? At least I know what happened and I did what I could. And every resistance that each person's explaining, and I have a very deep feeling in my heart that a lot of the next generation of the Earth Dharma next year, 2024, are going to be souls that are in that wounded healer archetype. There's a reason, because you guys are going to choose some depths. And when you choose to be the healed healer and let go of your wounds, oh my gosh, there's so much there. There's so much there for you to receive. But if you stick to the reality and the goo and the swampiness that you're scared of, I can't help you, no one can. And it feels lonely. I know it's lonely being a wounded healer. Been there. It's not easy. But again, you have a choice. So the souls that are contacting me in the other realms saying, Shika, I'm ready to step into, I'm ready to help others. Do yourself a favor and make sure your human acts on that. Do it. Whatever way, whether it's in the Earth Dharma or whatever way that you feel is called. Okay? So that is it. This is all I wrote. It's all that's channeling here. Thank you for joining me. I know it was meant for you. Can't wait to see the souls that drop into this space. There's a lot of big things happening behind the scenes for this and all those involved even after the program that is going to change your life and your community. And I'm paying for it because I know there's only one of me and one of you, but if we're together, we can feel less alone and lost. You don't have to do it alone. You're not meant to do this alone. No one's meant to do it alone. If anyone told you had to do things alone and you have everything in control, please put the ego aside and just humble, come back. We're meant to do it together. So I love you all so much. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. And don't forget to share this with any other wounded healers you feel this would align with. I'll see you guys in the next one. And let me know how you're feeling in the comments and like the video and all the human things. I love you so much, deeply, so sincerely. Lots of love for each and every one of you. And I will see you soon. Bye.